Hi and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. Now if you've been following the last few weeks, you'll know that I've been telling stories written down by a guy called Luke about Jesus. This week, something very different to last week though. Jesus went off to pray. Now I suppose you'll say, well okay, yeah, that's not going to be uncommon, is it? This is Jesus after all. Unsurprising, we do see Jesus going off to pray quite a lot. This time though, he took some friends with him, Peter, James and John. I don't know what they thought about praying. I suspect it wasn't something they particularly did. They'd all previously been fishermen, so deeply religious things like praying probably wasn't their bag. So anyway, they went with Jesus and they went off up a mountain. They got to the place where they were going to stop, and I think Peter, James and John, I think they must have sat down, because the next thing that we hear is they've gone to sleep. And while they were sleeping, Jesus starts to pray. But he's not just praying on his own, because his clothes have changed and become shining white. His face has changed, and two other men join him, Moses and Elijah. Now Moses and Elijah lived over 1,000 years earlier. Moses much longer ago. Moses died before the Israelites had even entered the land that would become Israel. And Elijah was taken up to heaven to be with God 1,000 years earlier. Suddenly though, they're there talking with Jesus about everything that is going to happen when Jesus goes to Jerusalem, when he's betrayed, when he dies on a cross, and when he rises from the dead 3 days later. The Easter story. Fortunately, Peter, James and John are woken up by all of this that's going on, and they're just completely amazed by what's happening. A little later, they hear God the Father's voice speaking to them, tells them, "This is my chosen son. Listen to what he says." After they heard this, Jesus was once again on his own. Moses and Elijah had gone. Jesus was back to normal. Now this whole event must have had a massive impact on these three guys. Shortly after this, Luke tells us that they asked Jesus, "How do we pray?" I think in this moment they not only started to truly understand that Jesus was by no means ordinary. Yes, he was a man. They lived as a group, eating, sleeping, joking, travelling, doing it all together. They knew all his little quirks and habits, but here they learnt something important about Jesus being God, having a direct relationship with God the Father. And they saw that prayer was powerful and unexpected. They saw that prayer is not one way. It's not just giving God a shopping list of what we'd like him to do for us, but it's two-way, sharing, learning. Not something boring and not something to sleep through. This event completely changed their understanding and expectation of God. I wonder what your expectations are of God. I wonder what you might have seen that might challenge those expectations. I know I think I've learned enough about God to know that whatever I might expect is usually wrong, but wrong in a good way, because things I could never imagine come along instead. So this week, why not let down some of the barriers that we have because of our expectations? You never know how someone or something might surprise you, and that can be just totally mind-blowing. Don't be too quick to dismiss things just because it wasn't what you expected. Instead, look and see what's going on. Maybe God is going to do something incredible around, if only you're open to it and only you look for it. Stay safe and have a great week. God bless you.